On this James the Bike Guy, we're taking a look at the 2021 Jamis DXT A3. This is a dual sport style hybrid from Jamis, and it's a pretty cool rig for getting into riding and having a bike that can do just about anything. So we're going to go into the features and designs of this bike, as well as find out exactly what it weighs. So if that kind of thing is interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button and hang out with me as we check out this bike. If you haven't heard of Jamis before, they're a full-line manufacturer of bicycles. They have everything from hybrids like this one to top-end road bikes and mountain bikes to kids' bikes to get into riding. And it's pretty neat because they're out of New Jersey and they make some pretty neat bikes, and this DXT is one of them. So this DXT is what's considered a dual sport style hybrid. So what a dual sport style hybrid is basically it's a hybrid that is set up to be able to do about 60% on-road and 40% off-road. And by off-road, I mean gravel paths, dirt trails, things like that, not quite as aggressive as mountain biking. And it's able to do that because it runs these 40mm wide tires on 700C wheels. So a 700C wheel is the same diameter as, say, what you'd get on a road bike. And with those wider 40mm tires, it's going to allow for a broad range of conditions. Now, if you were to compare this to one of the big guys, this DXT A3 is very similar to what you'd get out of the Trek Dual Sport 1. And to make this a real capable bike, it's going to be set up with a 75mm suspension fork. So it's got 75mm of suspension travel, 28mm stanchions on the SR Suntour NVX fork. You've got adjustable preload, no lockout on here, but it does feel pretty good while riding. It's quick release down at the axle, disc brake setup, and the frame itself is going to be a 6061 T6 aluminum. So you've got pretty nice looking welds on this bike, quick release collar for the seat post, and a threaded bottom bracket, making for a pretty nice looking bike. And one of the things I really like about these is they're going to be a size specific setup. So if you look at the geometry chart, most of them have a 71-degree head tube angle and a 73-degree seat tube angle, but you'll notice that the shaping of the frame changes a little bit between each size. And they're doing that to make sure that from an extra small bike to an extra large, it's going to have a similar riding feel by adapting the geometry and the fit to each size. Now, it is set up, of course, with rack and fender mount. So that does mean you've got eyelets on the back end of the bike for racks and fenders. It's got 2 water bottle mounts, even on this size small or 15-inch frame that we're checking out here. And the cable routing is going to be run on the outside of the bike. So while not as sleek as some of the bikes that have internal cable routing, it does definitely make it a little bit easier to work on. Now, speaking of cabling, let's talk about the drivetrain. So this bike is set up with a Shimano 3x7 drivetrain. It's running a Shimano Tourney TY300 rear derailleur with a 12 to 32 tooth Shimano freewheel going up front to a Tourney front derailleur and this forged alloy crankset. The crankset's got a 48, 38, 28 chainring combination. So that means with the 32 out back and the 28 tooth up front, the 2 lowest gears, that's going to allow this to be able to climb pretty well. And then a 1248 should allow, even on pavement, to have plenty of speed. The wheel set is going to be these TD26 rims. These 26mm wide rims from Alex are 32 hole, going to quick release front and rear hubs with 6-bolt discs for the mechanical disc brake setup. To control those disc brakes, you've got an integrated brake and shift lever. So the lever there is going to be able to pull the brake, and then the shifter is going to have an index and a thumb button for adjustment. So the thumb button is going to bring you to an easier gear, index finger to a harder gear, and in fact, they're even labeled on the lever, as well as having an indicator to let you know what gear you're in. Now, one thing that I really like about this bike is even though it's running a 25.4 handlebar size, and by that I mean the clamp diameter is 25.4, which is a little bit older design, it is still an aluminum bar and stem, which means that it's going to help keep the front end quite a bit lighter than some of the other bikes out there. And to round out, it's going to have a nice Jamis saddle with a alloy 31.6 seat post. So now that we've taken a look at some of the features and designs of this bike, let's go ahead and find out what it weighs. The actual weight of the Jamis DXT A3 comes in and weighs 32.32 pounds. Well, thanks so much for watching this video on the Jamis DXT A3. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're at it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as make sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you can see more videos like this into the future.